Hey guys, welcome to another collection video. This time around we are looking at the Twilight Princess Premier Edition hardcover strategy guide for the Nintendo Wii. This released right at launch when the game released, and it originally retailed for $29.99. It has the special, very fancy material here. It's very nicely made, and it came with this sweet little cloth overworld map of Hyrule. This is the Nintendo Wii version of Hyrule, and it's very nicely labeled. It shows a lot of the secret treasure chests with the various rupees, where all the various the different golden bugs are, where all the heart locations are, and it has the whole legend of everything it has. Shows some of where all the items are, where all the post-souls are. It's a really in-depth map, and the cloth map is nice. I guess it's you can hang it up almost like a poster type thing, although you'd have to, I think, puncture a hole in it to really get it to work. But for me, I just keep it folded up right in here, and yeah. This is probably, well, definitely, is the largest strategy guide that was ever released in the United States for Zelda. Just in terms of the pure bulkness of it. There's a lot to say about Twilight Princess in general, since it's such a huge game. It's got pretty much everything you could ever imagine a strategy guide should have. It's got various appendices for all the different characters, all the different items, and it's got a whole bunch of stuff. And all the stuff I'm flipping through right now is all the pre-game content, just all the various appendices. And then once the guide starts, it's got a pretty sweet formula where it shows your maximum heart containers that you could possibly have, shows all the various characters that you encountered in this particular chapter, and down here it shows the progression of the sections within the chapter. It's a very well laid out guide, and it's very nicely done. It's got the 2-column system basically. It's got all these little info boxes for the various characters and enemies, and it's pretty nicely done. Furthermore, the hardcover version has these foil pages. It's kind of hard to see. I don't know if it'll pick up on the camera, but it's almost like these gold foil pages, and it gives it a good aesthetic when you look at it from the side, side here, because it looks pretty nice on display. A few things about the Prima Games guides that started with Twilight Princess, but this was the first guide that had the Premier Edition, the hardcover version. This carried over to Phantom Hourglass, Spirit Tracks, as well as Skyward Sword, where it came out with both a soft cover and a hardcover. Twilight Princess was actually the last game in the Zelda series where Nintendo made its own player's guide. So there's actually a Nintendo guide and a Prima guide for Twilight Princess here in the United States. But beyond that, beyond Twilight Princess, all of the subsequent English-based guides released in the U.S. were exclusively released by Prima Games. I guess Prima did such a fantastic job with this particular game that Nintendo sort of just gave them the keys and let them run with it. And for good purpose. This is far superior compared to the Nintendo Player's Guide. It's got basically everything you could ask for. It's got all the fancy little artwork as well for the various characters. These nicely done maps, and pretty much everything there is that you'd ever want to know. Even towards the end of the guide, they've got a few appendices back here. Like I mentioned, there was the appendices up in front as well. But back here we've got the at the end of the guide, they've got what is pretty common in the Prima guides and a lot of strategy guides. It's the legendary checklist highlighting all the little things. This particular guide ran at 432 pages. You've even got a little table of contents, which I believe makes it by far the largest English-based Legend of Zelda strategy guide. strangely enough, there was actually a re-release of this same exact guide, and it's almost identical, as you can see right here. It looks the same. All the content is the same for the first 430 or so pages. The only difference in this particular re-release is they changed the legendary checklist that I just showed at the end of the guide. Instead of just summing it up into one page, they broke it up into all the different sections. The bomb rocks, the various locations, chew jelly locations, dig caverns, fishing, golden bugs. So it like really breaks it down, where if you really want to get virtually every single thing there is to get in the game, this checklist basically guided you through that in a sense. I was a little disappointed, since I remember when I found out that, wait, there's one that's 448 pages and one of them that was 432 pages. Like, I know there's a few minor errors in this one, so I was thinking, did they really add additional content that didn't know? But it turns out it's just this little checklist, so they kept the bulk of the guide intact. But still nice. It's always nice to see companies reworking some of their previously released material just to polish it up a little bit. These particular guides, like I said, they originally retailed for $29.99, which is pretty cheap, I'd say, for a collector's edition hardcover of this nature. However, they are much more expensive nowadays. It's kind of rare to find them in mint condition for anything less than $40. I've seen some of them go for as much as $50 or even more in some cases, especially if they're still in wrapping. But they're nice collectibles. These ones, along with the Phantom Hourglass, Spirit Tracks, and Skyward Sword ones, it's nice to have them in line. It's almost like a encyclopedia type like bookshelf. But pretty nice, and yeah. That's pretty much going to do it for this week's episode. Join me next time, and we're going to take a look at another item in my Zelda collection. Take care, guys.